So good evening, friends.
Good evening.
Good evening. Response is not that great. Is it because it's too cold? Okay, so anyway, we will introduce ourselves more as we go by. He has already introduced me, rather she has already introduced me. Thank you very much for the nice introduction. My name is Harish. I am from Cochin. I basically belong to a very nearby place, Chalakudi. I had my education here in Thrissur. I studied in Kerala Varma College. My graduation and all was here only. Then after that, yes, I moved over to Madras for I joined Unit Trust of India to begin with. Then after that, I joined Life Insurance Corporation as a development officer. And for the past 24 years, I am working as a development officer in Kumar. And this is basically my passion, and I am conducting usually these sort of programs as a pastime or my second profession. So we'll speak about it later as we go by. So it is indeed happy that ICFI has been calling me at least maybe for fourth or fifth session I am having here. Not in Thrissur, most of them have been in Atlanta. This is for the first time I am getting an opportunity to be here in Thrissur to do a session for ICFI. Anyway, thank you so much. Friends, there are two kinds of people in this world. One, those who give happiness wherever they go. Two, those who give happiness whenever they go. I certainly do not want to be in the second group. I would love to be in the first group, just discussing and sharing certain aspects which would be useful for us as we move forward. I said the second part, people who are giving happiness wherever they go. How many of you are happy here? Who are all happy? If you're happy, please raise your hand. Oh, that's great. Everybody is happy.
For the moment.
Is it because the 500 rupee notes have been taken away? Is it because the 1000 rupee notes also have gone away? No, no. We have our own reasons for us to be happy. Where does the happiness begin from? Who decides whether I should be happy or not?
Me, myself, my friend.
You yourself, and that is the same case with everyone. Am I right?
Yes.
What's really required is a little bit of a forward lean, because this is something to show that I am interested, I care for you. We usually say that when we were kids, whenever we see some elder people, what we are supposed to do? Naturally our body will go forward. That is a show of respect, that is a show of interest. So whenever you communicate to people, don't think just because you are a boss, you have to always like this. Even with your colleagues, this can be your body language, because this makes a lot of difference. It's all about showing that I am interested. Small things, but it makes a huge difference. So, open posture, forward lean. The T is nothing but touch. Touch doesn't mean that you go and touch the person every now and then. Touch is nothing but through your emotions, through the words you speak, you should be able to touch the heart of the person. Touch is nothing but touching the hearts of the person with the beautiful words that you utter, as well as the emotions that you display on your face. So touch is something which we have to do. It is applicable in one-to-one communication. It is applicable when we are speaking to a small group. It is applicable to a big group as well. Any group for that matter. These things matter a lot. So T is touch, and the E is the most important thing in communication. What is it? Eye contact. Suppose I have to say that you are looking good, I have to look at your eyes and say. When I come, I touch and say, you are looking good. This touch becomes a waste. It goes only there. Wherever I am making my eye contact, there only the communication really takes place. So it is absolutely necessary that you look at the eyes of the people and speak. When you are speaking to a group of maybe 100 people, 200 people, is it possible for you to look at each eye? Sure. It's possible. But when you are speaking for 10 minutes, may not be possible for connecting all. A simple technique which we have to do when we are speaking to a group of people is to divide them as 4 quadrants. Suppose you are standing here and you are making a speech, and you have an august audience of maybe 100 or 200 or 1000 people who are sitting there. What you have to do is, in your mind, in an imaginary line you have to create across. And you have to see one block, second block, third block, fourth block here. And suppose you are standing there and addressing to that group at the center, all the people there will feel that I am addressing them. Then I will just come over here and speak to you at the center, so all the people in this block will feel that I am addressing you. Then I go here, then I go there. Like that, we can always concentrate on the groups so that we can ensure that we give an impression that we are giving the eye contact. It has to be maintained if we are making good communication. Suppose you are looking down and speaking, what does that indicate? If I keep on looking down and the leadership is a great thing, we have to influence people, my dear friends. What does that do? If I am not looking, means it is very simple. I am, what is it? I am cooking up something. Is it not? I am just making out something. It's not honest, straightforward communication that takes place. You have to look at the eyes and speak. Look at the children. Suppose they come late. If you just call them and start asking them, if they are telling a lie, what do? Usually they look down and say. Nowadays they are also trained because they are taught body language in schools. Now what do? They look and say, I went for tuition. Because they are also learning body language these days. So you cannot just go only by the body language, because there are so many people who are learning body language and they will be pretending as if they are genuine. So we have to have a combination of all these going. And the last one is nod. What is a nod is all about? What you are doing now. And you always do this whenever I say something. What is this? This is something called approval. In communication, when you are speaking to somebody, you are in agreement to what he is saying, automatically this will happen, this must happen. This is called nod. And this is called what? Malayali has a typical problem. If you ask a Malayali, will you come tomorrow? He will say, what does that mean? This is universally approval and this is universally denial. But when you do like this, you can take any way you want. So that is a body language. So just put it simply, whether it is one-to-one communication, whether it is your communication at home, whether it is communication with your employees, whether it is communication with your colleagues, boss, customer, whoever it may be, these simple 6 things please bear in your mind. I tell you, this is extremely difficult. How many of you have difficulty in smiling when they speak? I know you don't want to say you have a problem, but there are many people who have a problem. Basically, people have problem in smiling and speaking. Maybe from the childhood we have copied certain people, like our uncles. Old days our Karnonmar used to be very serious people. If I have to get something done with my father, I used to send only I will report it to my mother and mother will have to go and tell my father. That is what usually happens. Is it not the same case with many of you? Especially senior people? Because those days fathers were supposed to be very serious people, not playing around with kids and all. And so through mother only we are supposed to report everything. Maybe we have picked up that particular thing in our psyche from our childhood. We have to be serious or else these people are going to sit on my shoulder. Very sorry. Those days are gone. Only if you are able to really connect with people, people will trust you. Only if you are able to really become friendly with them, they will be able to come along with you. Yes, that is something which we have to really take into consideration. Bear this softened technique with you. Smile, the open posture, little bit of a forward lean, touch, eye contact, nod in all kinds of communication that you do. Really? Yes. So from communication, if we just move, 1, speak clearly and purposefully. There are many people, when they speak at a very express speed. They speak at very high clip. If you speak at a very high speed, the problem is that the people who are sitting in your audience may not be able to understand it. So you have to just take it into consideration that even the most, or rather the slowest person to understand who is sitting in my audience should be able to understand me. That is the best way to start speaking. Give a little bit of a thought to that. Are you speaking fast? If you are speaking fast, you have to reduce the speed. Usually for when we go for speeches, there is an organization by the name Toastmasters International. Have anybody heard about that? Yes, you are a member? Toastmaster, you being in Gulf, you would have definitely heard about it, correct? From there you heard it? Yes, Toastmasters International is an organization which trains people to become better public speakers. And when they go through the manuals, each speech has a purpose and you go and deliver, there is a person to evaluate you. He will come and evaluate whether the speed was okay, whether the language was right, whether you were using all kinds of modulations and all these stuff they will do. And one thing they teach us is, don't speak more than 100 to 120 words per minute. If you are speaking in a program, if you write down your text, you just count it and see how many words are there in that. An easy way for you to understand whether you are speaking at a reasonably right pace is to just check whether you are speaking only 100 to 120 words a minute. If you are speaking only 100 to 120, you can be rest assured that people will be able to follow you. That is something which we have to improve on. Because our purpose of communication is not only to impress, it is also to make an impact. It is also to make the people understand and follow. Is it not right? At the end of the program, people say, wonderful speech. What did you learn? I don't remember. Doesn't make sense. So if the speech has to be effective, yes, the delivery has to be good, but the delivery must be done in such a manner that the person is able to grasp what the other person was telling. Is it not right? So that is what we have to concentrate on, speak clearly and purposefully. I will tell you a small example. Almost 3-4 years back, I wanted to go to Trivandrum from Ernakulam. Almost around 9:30, 10 o'clock, I went and I stood in the queue to purchase the tickets. I was almost maybe 13th or 14th person in the queue. I reached the counter in the railway station. Then I put 100 rupee note inside and said, I would like to have a sleeper ticket to go to Trivandrum. He immediately printed a ticket. He took out some 20 rupee change and then he pushed it to me. As I was just taking it, I looked at that person and asked the question, Kerala Express has left or not? What was the question? Kerala Express has left or not? He immediately pulled it back and asked me a question, do you want to travel by Kerala Express? I said yes. Why you didn't tell me earlier? He just cancelled it. He took out a new ticket and gave me another change of maybe 12 rupees back. And as he was giving it, he said, I really felt bad. As I was walking back, all the people who were in the queue were looking as if I had done a grave crime. Is it that happens to all of us, right? We are waiting in the queue and somebody is doing some circus in front. Naturally, you will be looking as if, while going back, I tried to understand. I tried to recollect what happened there. Why a mistake happened there? Simple thing. Ineffective communication from my side. I should have said when I gave that 100 rupee note, please give me a ticket to go to Trivandrum, a sleeper ticket to Trivandrum to go by Kerala Express. Reason is, for ordinary, the rate is different. For fast, the rate is different. Super fast, the rate is different. Express, the rate is different. Am I right? So had I made that extra thing called to go by this train, his job would have been easy, my job would have been easy, and all people behind me would not have been in a soup. So there is always scope for us to improve our communication. Just a very simple technique to check whether your communication is good is to ask. Is he asking back? You please tell again. Come again, please. If they are telling that, that means your communication is. When you say once, if they are able to understand, that means your communication is effective. Check whether people are asking back. Come again, sir. Excuse me, could you please repeat it again? I didn't understand. If that sort of thing is coming as a response, that means your communication has scope for improvement. Yes, think about it. Slow down and speak effectively. Be patient. Whenever you do communication, you have to be patient. Don't become a patient. You have to have patience. Communication is not a one-way process. Communication is always a two-way process. What is the percentage? You have a mouth and you have got 2 ears. What is the ratio then? 2:1. Listen twice of what you speak. Listen twice of what you speak. The managers, the leaders have a problem. Once you become a leader, once you become a manager, then you reach a level and then you start only dictating things. The more you dictate, the problem is you are not getting good ideas from others. You are blocking them. Make your employees, make your colleagues, make your subordinates, make your customers speak. If you give a very good ear to them, you will be able to have better ideas. You may be able to have even idea about what objection is keeping him away from buying that product. Maybe that will be the one thing that you really require to then hook on to. Listen. Listening is an absolutely important thing, because most of the time it so happens that when we listen with an intention to what do? When we listen to somebody, we listen with an intention to understand. If you are doing that, you are a sage. Most of the people listen to answer. You are in Toyota. If you are doing sales, are you in sales or service? Service. Whenever the customer says something about the product or about some fault or something like that, before he closes it, you are creating your response for that. Am I right? You are working out even in the process. It happens to all of us. Think consciously. Are you listening with a clean and open mind, and then you take your own time to decide and then answer? I am not a great fan of that person for his politics or his ideas, but I love listening to the interviews of P. Chidambaram, the former finance minister. The way he answers questions in interviews is indeed a treat to watch. When somebody asks a question, he listens carefully, he takes a break, then he answers. And when he answers, he speaks in such beautiful language that there is no confusion at all. That's what communication is all about, which we can all try to improve on. But for that, we have to give we have to just cross-check ourselves. Are we communicating effectively? We have to do a cross-checking here. Because nobody will be able to help you become a communicator in 1 hour. What you really need to do is you have to ask yourself, am I a good communicator? Am I making some mistakes? Am I a good listener? When I say, are people asking questions again back to me? If so, there is some area for improvement. That is how you have to look at it. Listen well, listen right. Listen to understand and then answer rather than listen to answer. Discuss, never argue in communication. Many a times we take different positions, and when we listen, we are preparing our argument. There is not scope for argument, it is only a scope for discussion. Discussion and argument are different. It is a question of something called, in English there are 2 words called aggressive and assertive. There are 2 words, aggressive, assertive. It's a thin line that divides them. When you speak aggressively, what happens? You insult the other person, you hurt the other person. But when you say assertively, you put it in such a way that you want to have the results from that person. Suppose I am telling my junior, I must get this by 7 o'clock or else you are. It is an aggressive way of telling. Suppose I tell that only if you give by 7 o'clock, I will be able to send it to so and so, we will have the results for you. When I say that, I am firm, but at the same time, I am not hurting your feelings. When you are aggressive, you will become more emotional. When you are assertive, you have your emotions under. Even in cricket, for example, I can go back to cricket again because it is easy to relate. Srishant was too aggressive. But there are so many other players who have been able to work for years. They were very competitive, but they were only assertive. They know where to draw the line. They know how to or how long you can go. They know. They have know where to stop. It is always said that don't be angry, pretend anger. A leader or a manager is supposed to be pretending anger. What is this? This is not right. And then you should turn and then you should start smiling because it's not affecting you. The other one, what happens is when you become angry, you go, your head also. Good managers, good leaders, to get results, they pretend to be angry. They act as if they are angry, but they are actually under control. That's what good managers and leaders are supposed to do. Exude confidence. Whenever you communicate with confidence. If a leader is not speaking confidently, how can you expect your followers to follow you? How can you expect others to do what you communicate to them? That message that is being given by the leader is the confidence that is getting passed on to the others. So whenever a leader speaks, leaders should speak with conviction. Leaders should be very, very confident. Okay, fine. So I think before I go further, a little bit of a small activity I would like to do. Is it ready? You ready? Okay. I will divide this group into group A and this group into group B, right? Just for you to have a little bit of an activity so that I will get back to you again. Okay. When I say a number, you have to clap. Suppose I say 7, you have to clap 7 times, right? But the hitch is, you should start and end simultaneously. That means, Abaswaram valid. Clear? Same thing applies to. Are you ready? Okay, we'll start from here. When I say your time starts now and then I say a number, after that number you can clap. But starting and ending should be simultaneous. Alright? Getting it? Okay, group A, your time starts now and your number is 7. So it didn't really happen. There was a little bit of this thing because some people had a different pace and it was very slow also. This is not the way I want. I want you to clap fast, right? You are going to just tell them how to do it. Okay, fine. Okay, group B, your time starts now and your number is 8. I am sure you are going to make it. Once in a while, there has to be a little bit of a child that you have to bring out. Age is just a number. Is it not? Age is just a number. Age is a number you think of. It all depends on it, correct? Now forget about it. You are like school children and you are going to clap. Come on. Last point in this area is get the branding right. If you are making a business presentation, make sure your presentation gives the look and feel of your company. Brand is not limited to logo everywhere. Branding is an entire culture. Branding is not only about the logos. Many people feel that logos is what branding is. Nothing. Branding is something called a magnetic field. Nike shirts, Nike dress, Nike, they don't have to even write Nike. One tick is enough. People will easily recognize them. Is it right? That is the power of a Nike. Yes, it is logo. But many companies which we work in, we don't have the privilege to be like that. The way we conduct ourselves, the way we speak ourselves, that also creates branding. I will speak about a company called Taj. Taj in Mumbai was in the news a few years back, not for the right reasons but for the wrong reasons. What was it? Kasab and team, right? They created havoc in that particular hotel. I am cutting short the story, it's a long story. 3 days, it was gunfight happening there. 3 days of real tensed situation inside. There were 1,600 human beings inside that hall, inside that hotel on the first day. 1,600. Out of which 600 people were inmates in rooms. 500 people were in various banquet halls like this. And some 600 people were the people who were serving them, the employees of Taj. And the study after that says, not even a single employee left the scene. Every employee knows all kinds of entrances, all kinds of exits to get out of the hotel. Not like the guest. They know whether they can go through kitchen, whether they can get through some other area. But it says, the study says, not even a single employee left the scene. They understood that I will be the last person sinking with the ship if the ship sinks. Never ever an instruction was given that suppose something happens like this, you have to behave like this, because nobody foresees such an event. But they took it up themselves and did it. And the reasons are many, and the study reveals 3 startling facts. 1, when they appoint employees, they don't appoint the toppers. Taj usually picks up people who are mediocre or just above mediocre. They don't try to get from Indian Institute of Management, Ahmedabad. They will go to SP Jain Institute and get a above average student. Number 2, the strategy is they don't usually take employees, especially the lower level employees, from big cities like Calcutta, Bombay, Delhi or Madras. They go to Trichy, they go to Mangalore, they go to Bhopal and pick. Reason they say is the family values are more intact in those places than these big cities. Hospitality business is all about treating them as family. First is all about presentation, communication, how you go. The second part is, if you have to really express to impress, you need to take care of your interpersonal skills. And the first point which I want to discuss here is a question. Okay, fine. This I will not touch the hearts of your family members, friends, colleagues, customers. Yes, we know this has to be done. Society. Why we need to touch hearts? We all know. To become a successful family man, to make and retain friends, to increase influence, to become popular, to tackle problems, to get along with others, to be a leader, okay, so on and so forth. Forget it. We all know that. We have already come. Who is the most important person in your life? Think and give me an answer. Please write it on your paper. Who is the most important person in your life? Please write it. Don't shoot the answer now. Let everyone think. My question is pretty clear. Who is the most important person in your life? Okay, you have written my daughter. What about you? Your mother. What about you? My husband. Oh, your husband will be here. Is he here? Please call and tell I wrote this. What about you? What about you? Myself. What about you? Myself. What about you? Me. What about you? Myself. Good. You people attend a lot of trainings. That is a problem. Okay, fine. You would have written myself, right? So there are many people who have written myself here. There are some people who have written daughter, husband and all. Now they will not write. With this they will stop. Whether you like it or not, the most important person in your life is you yourself. Is it not? Now you agree? Suppose you are taking a family photograph. When you get the photograph in your hand, will you look at your daughter first or will you look at yourself? Sure? Then you are different. You are not an ordinary human being.
She usually
Eh?
says that.
Is it? Okay, not a human, ordinary human being. Who says?
Everybody.
Everyone says that.
Everyone says they're interacting with me.
Okay, very good, very good, very good. It's a human tendency to look at spot you first and then of course all these. That is an indication for you to make sure that the most important person in your life is you yourself. Before making anybody happy, the first person you have to make happy is only if you can make yourself happy, you will be able to spread the happiness to others also. So if you are the most important person, if somebody speaks good about you, will you feel happy? So if you have to touch hearts, if you have to make relationships, what is it that you have to do? Make the other person important. In the interpersonal relations, the first and foremost thing that you have to understand is, if you have to strike a good relationship with anyone, the most important thing is you have to ensure that you make the other person important. When you make your husband feel important, the relationship strengthens. When you make your daughter feel important, your relationship strengthens. So if you have to create great relationship, the secret number one is make the other person feel important. Speak, do, touch and things to make the other person feel important. Because then he becomes happy and he wants to be connected with you. Show genuine interest in others, that's what. Show genuine, that is very important. Not the other one. Hi, how are you? It has to be genuine. From the heart it should come. It should be really good. Know your life position. How many of you have gone through transaction analysis or read a book called Eric Burns' TA, Transaction Analysis? Okay. In the transaction analysis, it is all about human relations and they speak about some philosophy. I will go through fast. All the people can have one of these four positions in life. The first position is called I am not okay, you are okay. What sort of a person is he? I am not okay, you are okay. Inferior person. Where does this inferiority come from? Where does the inferiority feeling in people come from, sir?
The way he is brought up.
The way he is brought up, perfectly right. Childhood especially. During the childhood, if at all he was rejected, if he was felt like not being respected, recognized and all, he creates something inside as myself as worthless. This inferiority complex begins from there. You study something, you get into an organization, you see the other people speaking great English. Again, inferiority complex. So you develop that from the background. It's basically said that our attitudes are developed from 3 E's. The first E is called the environment in which you were brought up. Number 2 E is something called education. And the third E is called experience. We create positions based on these 3 aspects called our environment, our education and also the third one called our experience. I am not okay, you are okay is an inferior person. I am sure you are managers and leaders because you have grown beyond that. But in your team, you will have people who will be having this, am I right? People who are feeling inferior. It is your leader's job, it is the manager's job to make him come out of that inferiority complex. How can you do that? If you find that your team member is inferior, what can you do, sir? Special attention, how will you do that?
So try and find out what is lacking
Okay.
and try to appreciate things which is good in it.
Very good. So everyone comes as a package. I come as a package. I have certain strengths, I have certain limitations. I won't use the word weakness because weakness is a different meaning these days. So limitations. I come with a positive as well as negative. I have to understand that yes, everyone cannot be positive in everything. I am good in certain areas, good enough. You are good in certain other areas, maybe. So as a leader, what you have to really appreciate is you are good in all these. But these are the areas where you can improve on. You do this, you do that, I will help you, I will handhold you. He will start feeling important and he comes up. Am I right? That is the only way to deal with inferior people in your group. Second position is I am okay, you are not okay. Superior. We may develop that over a period of time because we are leaders. Our people can also develop that habit. If our people develop that habit, it is a very dangerous thing. Very dangerous thing. He should be properly communicated, advised and made to see, yes, you still have miles to grow. You have still miles to go, man. You have to put him into that pedestal, otherwise he will be creating problems for the other inferiority complex people inside your team. He will start imposing around and speaking about all in contempt. So that should not happen. That is leader's job to straighten it. Is it not so? Just like inferiority people has to be brought up, these people have to be pushed out or subdued or made him see the reality. Third one, I am not okay, you are not okay, great. ഞാനും ശരിയല്ല, നീയും ശരിയല്ല, നിങ്ങളും ശരിയല്ല, ഈ ലോകമേ ശരിയല്ല. Is eternal pessimist. Eternal. There are people like that. There are people like that in this world. If those people come to your group, only God can save. Yes, you can counsel and try to bring him or else chop him off. That is only solution. I said right at the beginning, only good people are assets, bad people are liabilities. If they continue to be a liability, don't carry them, chop them off. That is the only way out in organizations. There is no other way. Because otherwise they will also spread a lot of negativity in your organization. It is said that our mind is a beautiful garden with a lot of nice flowers with smell and also it looks great. If a weed comes in, what happens? What we are supposed to do is to pluck it and throw it away. Suppose we allow it to remain there, what will happen? After some time, the whole garden will be full of weeds only. That is what we have to deal with these guys. If we are not able to straighten them, pick them and throw away. That is the only way out left for us as managers and leaders in our teams. Last one, I am okay, you are okay. The best position for anybody to take. I know I got some strengths and limitations. You too have that. Let's collaborate and move forward. Collaboration is nothing but my good is being given to the organization, your good is taken onto the plate, and you can compensate for each other's limitations. Is it right? That is what collaboration is all about. Collaborate to take it forward. Because people come with different skill sets. People come with different knowledge levels. People come with different kinds of attitudes and strengths. So combine them. We always say that, or you usually say, husband and wife has to be of the same wavelength. That's okay. If the husband and wife has the same behavior, many a times the family will crash. If I get 10,000 rupees and I want to spend, and if my wife is also the same, after 5 days when I go and put the number, only to salary for the bill. So actually, if I am a person who really spends, there has to be a check or balance on the other side. Then it becomes very good. Am I right? That is what I am saying. Opposite values can be complementary. Many a times we say same values are complementary. It can be the other way around. Opposite values can be real complementary one and move forward. Do not allow personal ego to dominate. If you want relationships to go well, whether it is at home, anywhere for that matter, personal egos should not dominate. Do you have an ego? If you don't have an ego, you are dead. Ego is there for everyone. Response is an action which you do after the thinking process is also there in between. Between a stimulus and the action, there is a thought process to decide how I should act upon that. That is what is called the response. Leaders and managers are supposed to respond, never ever react. Think, choose, wisely do it. Relationships will get better if you start responding rather than reacting. Husband-wife relationship, many a times the problem is reaction. കുറേ ചീത്ത പറയുമ്പോൾ ചിലപ്പോൾ അനുസരണാശീലം വളരെ വളരെ അത്യാവശ്യമാണെന്നൊക്കെ നമ്മുടെ ഏതോ സിനിമയിലൊക്കെ പറയണ മാതിരി തന്നെ if you just slow down, don't react to that, and then you tell, is it not this the picture, then another person may understand. Take your own time to decide how to respond, how to act on it. Trust, most important factor in communication. I am just, some 6 lines are there. Commitment is necessary, sincerity is necessary, reliability is necessary, integrity. Integrity is nothing but walking the talk. Correct? Integrity is nothing but walking the talk. Competence, consistency. Trust is something which is absolutely necessary in relationship. Most of the relationships are built on trust. Most of the relationships are built on trust only. Take responsibility. As a leader, as a manager in your relationships, if you have to move forward, you have to take responsibility. If you are a good husband, if you are a husband, you have to be a good husband. If somebody is a wife, it has to be a good wife. So responsibility means assuming that position and doing what is really required of that position. If you have to create relationships going, the most important thing is to appreciate. Don't miss any opportunity to appreciate. Malayalis are usually conjuice. We are conjuice when it comes to appreciation. But you go to the next state, you can see the whole difference. When you go to Tamil Nadu, you can see people being much more appreciative. It is my personal experience. You may have a difference of opinion. Basically, we are a bit reserved when it comes to smiling. We are a bit reserved when it comes to appreciating people. Maybe because we feel only if this standard comes, I will appreciate. Keep appreciating at this level. People feel worth. They will start performing better. Don't miss an opportunity in your organization to appreciate people. It's a different word. I don't want to explain here. Omoyari is a Japanese term. Omoyari means only this. Suppose you are standing in the queue for buffet. You are taking the plate. Okay? There is another person who is standing behind you. You pick the plate, give it to him, then you take your plate. Are you getting the feeling? You just open this door and you just walk in. You are seeing another person who may not be known to you, he is coming. You hold on for an extra second, and then when he gets in, you close it. The other person will look at you, give a smile, and then say, hey, thank you. Am I right? Plate also it is going to happen, right? Look for small deeds to get into the hearts of people. Simple things you can do every day. Don't you think? So ensure that every day you are touching even a common man, a stranger in some way or the other, because you are going to get it in bountiful back later. You give, you will get. And you will get satisfaction when you help somebody, am I right? That should be the Omoyari spirit which you have to see. Omoyari means without expecting helping another. What is it? Without expecting anything in return, helping.